Good afternoon and welcome back to another episode of The Longing, where we're going to continue to read and finish off the chapter in Moby Dick. So, let's get going. Sink him. I never look at him at all. But if ever I get a chance of a dark night, and he standing hard by the bulwarks and no one by, look down there, Flask, pointing into the sea with a peculiar motion of both hands. I, Flask, I take that Fedallah to be the devil in disguise. Do you believe that cock and bull story about his having been stowed away on board ship? He's the devil, I say. The reason why you don't see his tail is because he tucks it up out of sight. He carries it coiled away in his pocket, I guess. Blast him. Now that I think of it, he's always wanting oakum to stuff into the toes of his boots. He sleeps in his boots, don't he? He hasn't got any hammock, but I've seen him lay of nights in a coil of rigging. No doubt, and it's because of his cursed tail. He coils it down, do you see, in the eye of the rigging. What's the old man have so much to do with him for? Striking up a swap or a bargain, I suppose. Bargain? About what? Why, do you see, the old man is hard bent after that white whale, and the devil there is trying to come round him and get him to swap away his silver watch or his soul or something of that sort, and then he'll surrender Moby Dick. Pooh, Stubb, you are skylarking. How can Fedallah do that? I don't know, Flask, but the devil is a curious chap, and a wicked one, I tell ye. Why, they say as how he went a-sauntering into the old flagship once, switching his tail about devilish easy and gentlemanlike, and inquiring if the old governor was at home. Well, he was at home, and asked the devil what he wanted. The devil, switching his hoofs up, and says, I want John. What for? Says the old governor. What business is that of yours? Says the devil, getting mad. I want to use him. Take him, says the governor. And by the Lord, Flask, if the devil didn't give John the Asiatic cholera before he got through with him. I'll eat this whale in one mouthful. But look sharp. Ain't you already there? Well then, pull ahead and let's get the whale alongside. I think I remember some such story as you were telling, said Flask, when at last the two boats were slowly advancing with their burden towards the ship. But I can't remember where. 3 Spaniards, adventures of those 3 bloody-minded Salados. Did you read it there, Flask? I guess you did. No, never saw such a book. Heard of it, though. But now, tell me, Stubb, do you suppose that devil you were speaking of just now was the same you say is now on board the Pequod? Am I the same man that helped kill this whale? Doesn't the devil live forever? Who ever heard that the devil was dead? Did you ever see any parson a-wearing mourning for the devil? And if the devil was a latchkey to get into the Admiral's cabin, don't you suppose he can crawl into a porthole? Tell me that, Mr. Flask. How old do you suppose Fedallah is, Stubb? Do you see that mainmast there, pointing to the ship? Well, that's the figure 1. Now, take all the hoops in the Pequod's hold, and string along in a row with that mast, for oughts, do you see? Well, that wouldn't begin to be Fedallah's age, nor all the coopers in creation couldn't show hoops enough to make oughts enough. But see here, Stubb, I thought you a little boasted just now, that you meant to give Fedallah a sea toss, if you got a good chance. Now, if he's so old as all those hoops of yours come to, and if he's going to live forever, what good will it do to pitch him overboard? Tell me that. Give him a good ducking anyhow. But he'd crawl back. Duck him again, and keep ducking him. Suppose he should take it into his head to duck you, though. Yes, and drown you. What then? I should like to see him try it. I'd give him such a pair of black eyes that he wouldn't dare to show his face in the Admiral's cabin again for a long while, let alone down in the all up there, where he lives, and hereabouts on the upper decks where he sneaks so much. Damn the devil, Flask. So you suppose I'm afraid of the devil? Who's afraid of him except the old governor who daren't catch him and put him in double derbies? as he deserves, but lets him go about kidnapping people. Aye, and signed a bond with him that all the people the devil kidnapped, he'd roast for him. There's a governor. Do you suppose Fedallah wants to kidnap Captain Ahab? Do I suppose it? You'll know it before long, Flask. But I am going now to keep a sharp lookout on him, and if I see anything very suspicious going on, I'll just take him by the nape of his neck and say, "Look here, Beelzebub, you don't do it. And if he makes any fuss, by the Lord I'll make a grab into his pocket for his tail, take it to the capstan, and give him such a wrenching and heaving that his tail will come short off at the stump. Do you see? And then, I rather guess when he finds himself docked in that queer fashion, he'll sneak off without the poor satisfaction of feeling his tail between his legs." "And what will you do with that tail, Stubb?" "Do with it? Sell it for an ox-whip when we get home. What else?" "Now, do you mean what you say, and have been saying all along, Stubb?" "Mean or not mean, here we are at the ship. The boats were here hailed to tow the whale on the larboard side, where fluke, chains, and other necessaries were already prepared for securing him." "Didn't I tell you so?" said Flask. "Yes, you'll soon see this right whale's head hoisted up opposite that Parmachetti's." In good time, Flask's saying proved true. As before, the Pequod steeply leaned over towards the sperm whale's head. Now, by the counterpoise of both heads, she regained her even keel, though sorely strained, you may well believe. So, when on one side you hoist in Locke's head, you go over that way. But now on the other side, hoist in Cant's, and you come back again, but in very poor plight. Thus some minds forever keep trimming boat. O ye foolish, throw all these thunderheads overboard, and then you will float light and right. In disposing of the body of a right whale, when brought alongside the ship, the same preliminary proceedings commonly take place as in the case of a sperm whale. Only in the latter instance the head is cut off whole, but in the former the lips and tongue are separately removed and hoisted on deck, with all the well-known blackbone attached to what is called the crown-piece. But nothing like this, in the present case, had been done. The carcasses of both whales had been dropped astern, and the head-laden ship not a little resembled a mule carrying a pair of overburdened panniers. Meantime, Fedallah was calmly eyeing the right whale's head, and ever and anon glancing from the deep wrinkles there to the lines in his own hand. And Ahab chanced to stand that the Parsee occupied his shadow, while, if the Parsee's shadow was there at all, it seemed only to blend with and lengthen Ahab's. As the crew toiled on, Laplandish speculations were bandied among them concerning all these passing things. Right, and with that, we're not going to start the next chapter, just because I'm not actually sure how long it is, and I don't want to be getting partway through another chapter again. So we don't actually have enough space to do any more drawings, so we are going to start moving some of the drawings down below, so that we've got a bit more room upstairs. We're going to pick that up. I think we're going to start moving these top ones down. And we'll go through properly and move them into reasonable locations gradually at some point. But for now, we're just making a little bit more room should we want to do any more painting, any more drawings. Okay, good. Just while we've got a little bit of time to use up. But with that, we are basically at the end of the episode, so I'm going to head back up and say thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon or night, no matter what time of day it is. I hope you all have a wonderful one of it. And as always, we will be back tomorrow for more of the longing. Goodbye.